The Chinese are often accused of being fakers. In fact, they regularly produce knockoffs of popular brands without permission and in flagrant violation of copyright laws. You won't believe how many businesses are now cloning successful models of electric vehicles. And in this video, we will examine the Tesla and Apple car cloning controversies in China. A B-Bus, the BlackBerry, Calvin Klein, and the Nintendo Polystation are just some of the clever brand names given to Chinese imitations. It's also common knowledge that China is a top producer of knockoff goods and isn't limited to clothing, accessories, or timepieces. Now, according to a recent report, a Chinese hacking group identified as APT-41 has stolen content worth trillions of dollars. They didn't just rob a couple of firms, they slowed down production at around 30 firms in the energy manufacturing and pharmaceutical industries. A probe was codenamed Operation Cocobees, and they discovered that Chinese hackers stole hundreds of gigabytes of proprietary information and other private files from businesses in the Americas, Europe, and Asia. The schematics, plans, and formulas used in producing antidepressants and weight loss pills are just two examples of the types of confidential information that have been stolen. They went after plans and specifications for products that hadn't even been invented. And apparently, China's cyber espionage campaign against police has been ongoing since 2019. The FBI claims that China's hacking problem is worse than every other major country. And of course, the United States is a prime target. China is mass-producing clones of well-known brands of electric vehicles. Just take a look at the sales statistics if you are curious as to why they are now being tracked to EVs. Over 2 million EVs were purchased in Q1 of this year. And compared to the same period a year ago, this is a 75% growth. It's also clear that China has been enormous market potential for electric vehicles. Several Chinese automakers have clarified that they want to displace Tesla from the top spot, including Li Auto, NIO, and XPeng. One thing all Teslas have in common is their high asking prices, and after adding on accessories, vehicles can cost over $100,000 easily, and China is well aware of this fact. China has a large non-union labor force and extensive supply chains, resulting in low production costs. That's why they can easily steal car designs and resell them to undercut Tesla's price. Allow me to illustrate this to you with a specific case. Chang'an Automotive, a Chinese automaker owned by the state, is a prime example. In fact, they just released a new electric vehicle that mimics the look of the Tesla Model 3. The Shenlan SL03 is the name of the Tesla imitator. Its range is 320 miles, which is less than the 358-mile range of the Tesla Model 3. These two automobiles are virtually identical in width, wheelbase, and height. And compared to the Model 3, the Shenlan SL03 is about 4 inches long. But that's not all they have in common. Both cars have remarkably full-featured interiors. They are similar in that they both have a large horizontal display in the middle and a very similar user interface. Shenlan SL03 starts at just $26,000 in China, while the base price of a Tesla Model 3 is around $40,000. Meanwhile, the original Model 3 Tesla costs nearly $15,000 more than the knockoff. Naturally, the Shenlan SL03 skyrocketed to fame in China almost overnight. Over 15,000 reservations were made for the Shenlan SL03 within the first few hours of its release, and the company hopes to increase monthly production to 15,000 units in the future. They also hope to expand internationally and build 5 factories around the world. Let me give you a second example. The first G9 SUV was introduced a few weeks ago by Chinese innovative EV manufacturer XPeng Motors, and it clearly shares features with the Tesla's Model Y. The success of Model Y should serve as an explanation for why G9 is copied rather than developed further. China saw more than 172,400 deliveries of the Model Y in the first half of 2022. And compared to the previous year, this is an increase of 188%. Xpeng claims the G9 can go from 0 to 124 miles of range in just 5 minutes of ultra-fast charging. Currently in China still needs to give the green light to use Tesla's software for auto parts. However, the G9 SUV will be available with LiDAR sensors and software for city navigation pilots, allowing it to drive itself in urban areas. Pre-orders for the G9 began on August 10, and within the first day, the company accepted around 23,000. Now, Tesla isn't the only one who's lost out. Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers have also been accused of copying the designs of several other automakers. Jaguar Land Rover sued Jiangling, a Chinese car manufacturer, for allegedly copying the look of the Range Rover Evoque SUV. After a 2019 court ruling in favor of Jaguar Land Rover, Jiangling was ordered to cease its SUV sales, manufacturing, and marketing. The vehicle is called the Landwind X7, and they were also mandated to pay Land Rover compensation. And by a strange twist of fate, a Jiangling Landwind X7 and a real Range Rover Evoque accidentally bumped into each other in Chongqing, China. Volkswagen design was also copied in 2017 at the Jinan EV show, where the weikerui V7 was a big hit with the public. Now, due to its low top speed of 31 miles per hour and limited range of 75 miles, this EV looked almost identical to the Volkswagen e-up. This electric vehicle is painfully slow. Also, it's unquestionably a fake, and nearly every exterior panel was a near-exact replica of the design featured on the first generation e-up. Even one of the car's logos appeared almost an exact replica of Volkswagen's original emblem. And then there's Beijing Aztec Technology, another Chinese firm. This company is said to have sought a patent for a design similar to the original Mini. The BMW Group launched production of the first generation Mini in 2000, and since then, the Mini brand has become synonymous with the BMW name. In addition, a Chinese automaker is planning an electric version of the Mini hatchback. Beijing Aztec Technology looks like it fed the Mini's blueprints into a copier and spit out the patent images, which is exactly what happened. Naturally, this has not made BMW happy. Now, before we continue, I'd like to thank you for getting this far. And if you want to know more about an attempt to steal information about Apple's incoming Apple Car, then make sure to watch this next part. In case you haven't heard, Apple Car also caused controversy in China. However, the person who attempted to imitate the design of the Apple Car was actually a former Apple engineer. This means that the person wasn't just some random copycat. Xiaolang Zhang, a former Apple engineer, admitted to stealing sensitive information in August 2022 and decided to enter a guilty plea. In addition, since 2015, Zhang has been serving as an engineer on a project involving autonomous vehicles. Zhang resigned from Apple in April 2018 to return to China to be with his ailing mother. However, Zhang had already decided to join the XPeng auto factory in China. You see, Zhang had informed Apple that upon arriving in China, he had found employment with XPeng. Apple began looking into Zhang because the Apple Car is a top-secret venture. Unfortunately for him, Apple discovered that he had sent 24 gigabytes of potentially dangerous information to his wife's laptop. Also included was a massive 25-page document detailing the Apple Car's electrical architecture. And so, after arriving at San Jose International Airport, Zhang was ready to board a flight back to China. However, he saw that he wasn't by himself, and agents from the federal government had arrived to look for him. The agents tracked him down at the airport and arrested him there, and it was captured by on-site surveillance cameras that he was taken into custody. It was revealed that he took some server circuit boards from the Apple laboratory and had them on his person. Moreover, following Zhang's arrest, XPeng made a public statement denying any involvement with or knowledge of the case. They also stated that there was no dispute between them and the US judicial authorities and that they had never been a part of the investigation. In July, Zhang was indicted by a federal grand jury in San Jose that same year for allegedly stealing 25 pages of plans for a circuit board that would be used in an upcoming Apple vehicle. He has just pleaded guilty to the theft and is now facing up to $250,000 in fines and 10 years in prison. Now, the allegations against him are not the first time an Apple employee has been suspected of stealing trade secrets related to the Apple Car project. In 2019, another ex-Chinese Apple employee was arrested for smuggling Apple Car handbooks, images, and graphs into China. According to rumors, Apple's autonomous vehicle will be unveiled in 2025, yet experts predict that this will be postponed. It's because of the many untrue claims that have been made about this vehicle. This includes flawed technical design, high turnover, and attempted theft. However, here's the rub. Hardware designs can be stolen by anyone, but copying Apple's ecosystem is challenging. And one thing to remember when trying to replicate the success of electric vehicles is that the modern automobile, especially electric cars, is about more than just hardware. Electric vehicles are essentially mobile computers due to their abundance of electronic components. For example, Tesla is attempting to create an ecosystem similar to Apple's. One of the most important things for EV manufacturers is creating a network of partners and suppliers. But these days, it's easy to spot the difference between a copy and a steal. Theft of trade secrets or invention blueprints is a severe offense. Even so, approving the product's current design is merely more innovation, and competition ultimately drives companies to improve their offerings. Think about Apple and Samsung as an example. The arrival of Apple's first iPhone was a watershed moment. Samsung, however, quickly released its own touchscreen smartphone, setting off a race to the top in the smartphone market. Still, there is a thin line between being inspired by a design and copying the patent. On one occasion, Apple claimed that Samsung had gone too far. In 2011, Apple filed a patent infringement lawsuit against Samsung, and Apple claimed that Samsung's Galaxy smartphones were visually similar to iPhones but copied. Damages worth approximately $1 billion had been awarded to Apple at the beginning of the case. However, following a retrial, the amount was reduced. In 2018, after 7 years of negotiations, Apple and Samsung reached a settlement. Apple claims they started the smartphone revolution with the iPhone and that Samsung simply copied them. Furthermore, have you ever wondered how businesses innovate upon existing products? This is where the process of hardware reverse engineering comes into play. Basically, it's the process of disassembling a product to examine its parts and the relationships between them. In fact, businesses often do this in order to learn about the engineering that went into a product, and it's not always an extra cost. Ultimately, if you copy someone else's work and sell it as your own, you're stealing. On the other hand, innovation is when you take the ideas or inspiration of a competitor and make your own development and research or make an improved version of what they had. So, what do you think of these knockoff Chinese EV brands? Let me know your thoughts on them in the comments section below. And while you're at it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons as well. Now, if you want to know more about the upcoming Apple car, then make sure to click and watch this video right here. And enjoy! And that's the end of this video, guys. See you next time.